Let yourself write something bad. Today or the next chance you get a chance to write. Oh man, like, I think my biggest regret from my early writing days, like when I really, made a point to be like, I have to know if I'm a writer, like if I want to do this, I think I want to do this. So I dove into this passion project, this feature-length script, and I worked on it for a long time, for a year, and every time I wrote, I put so much pressure on myself to only write something good that it was really suffocating. So what I wish I could go back and tell myself is it's unrealistic and completely unhelpful, that's the more important thing, to think you can always write something great when you sit down to write. It's not fair to you as a writer, and it's not fair to what you're trying to write. It leaves very little room for discovery to be like, it has to be good every time you sit to write. One of the biggest lessons I learned was to not be precious. But it's easy to say, don't be precious. It's a lot harder to do that. So for me, how I break that down into like actionable steps is I will actually assign myself to write something bad today. For example, we've moved, you can see there are boxes and stuff. I have gotten a little bit out of like my writing groove routine and I want to get back into it. And I mean, this is what I love about writing, but also hate about it, is it scares me. I'm always like scared of writing, but when I do it, it's incredibly rewarding and makes me feel alive. So I have enough experience having like fallen out of my writing routine, wanting to get back in, knowing the fears that are gonna come so they don't freak me out as much as they used to. And one way I combat the insecurity I'll probably always feel as a writer, just, is to assign myself to write something bad. So I'm going to do that today. And the reason I find it so valuable is because when I'm writing, I know that I'm gonna have these thoughts, because I've had them many times before, of like, ooh, that line's not good. Ooh, that's kind of a clunky transition. Is this scene even interesting? I'll have all those thoughts and those doubts about what I'm writing, but then I'll remember, oh, the one thing I have to do today, I told myself to do, is to write something bad. So I'm doing what I promised myself I'd do. And then I keep going. And that's the thing that's so valuable. And I didn't used to do that. I used to stop and be like, if it's bad, I'll fix it. And I'd go back and edit and fix it. And it was terrible. It was robbing my story of like a proper first draft, of like a proper, like just passionate love affair draft where I just ran through it and just let it be what it is and didn't question it too much. So if you're a new writer, I'm trying to help you by giving you an assignment, which is today, spend 20 minutes writing something bad on whatever it is you want to work on, and do not let yourself go back and edit it. Keep going until the 20 minutes is over and you've done the thing. When I do this, I often find that by the end of those 20 minutes, something magical has happened. I've done something, like come up with just something that I'm like, oh, that's kind of good. Or like, oh, I kind of like that. Or I'll just enjoy the groove that I'm in, like, oh, I like this momentum. I like that I'm just going, that I'm just doing it. The humility that comes with it is like, oh, every great writer is just a person. And every person is capable of great things, but they also just need to make like mediocre things on the way to greatness. And I feel like we don't talk about that as a culture as much as I wish we did. There's so much more to be gained from allowing yourself the freedom to be a person, to be a human, to just write something that's not great. And you're doing it. Like, you're doing the thing, you're writing, and no one can take that away from you. Even if someone doesn't like your writing down the line, you did it, and like they probably didn't write. Just giving yourself the grace period to be like, this doesn't mean it's always gonna be bad. It's just a necessary foundational step towards something good, something that I love. I also used this mentality to like sit down and make this vlog. I was like, just make it, and it's okay if it's bad. Like, make a bad vlog. Because I know that giving yourself permission, giving the like part of me that wants to make this thing permission to just be itself and no pressure for it to be good when it does its thing, God, it's just the best gift you can give yourself. Because there's nothing to lose. The only thing you'll lose by doing this is the belief that you may so desperately want to hold on to that you can sit down and write something great every time you actually sit down to write. If you want to hold on to the belief, that's your decision to, but speaking as someone who held on to it for literally years, like I'd say like 3 years, and then I went to grad school and it just was like I was broken out of it because I had a teacher like looking at me being like, you're not allowed to go back, like you can't edit. It was such a gift to me. All the greatest things I've ever written came from a place of fear and not being sure if it was going to be any good, not being sure if this idea was gonna be crazy or if people were gonna like hate it or think it was weird. But you know, eventually I just got to a point where I just realized like something's not working with the way I've been doing it. And then with like grad school, these people just being like, write something bad, and it worked, and like suddenly something unlocked and I was like, oh, I can actually like bring this story to life now because I'm letting it grow in all its stages, letting it be awkward and uncoordinated for a while as it grew. Let yourself write something bad today or the next chance you get a chance to write, and I'm gonna do it too. I'm so glad I made this vlog. It's very energizing. I love you guys. Let me know how it goes writing something bad or making something bad, and I will talk to you soon. Okay.